afternoon. Welcome back, Haley. And welcome everyone to our session to meet the programs in STEM and environment and sustainability. Right off the bat, I'd like to get you right into the program. So first, I'd like to introduce Professor Scott Warilla, and he's going to talk to us about biotech. Take it away, Scott.
Okay, great. I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and I'll do it that way. Great. Can everybody see my screen? Yes? Good. Okay, so we have a biotechnology certificate program at CCRI. It's been active for maybe 12, 13 years or so, and we've had a lot of good success with that. So let me show you a little bit about what we do. Biotechnology itself, in case you don't know, is using living organisms to produce medicines, food, fuels, and other products to improve people's lives. Could be something you get from a doctor, could be something you had for dinner last night, could be something that powers your car or heats your home. What we focus on, for the most part, is biomanufacturing. And most positions in industry are in biomanufacturing. This is making therapeutic proteins from cell culture. So you're growing cells to produce this medicine, which are proteins. It's a very interesting, dynamic environment to work in. Many different positions, pathways to choose from, and there's lots of opportunities for advancement in biotech. Just in case you haven't heard of any biotech drugs, these are ones you may see on TV advertised, in commercials: Humira, Remicade, Herceptin, Rituxan, Enbrel, Avastin. A lot of these are for rheumatoid arthritis, cancer, diabetes, and psoriasis, and they tend to be some of the bigger biotech drugs. And some of these are made right here in Rhode Island at Amgen. Avastin is a big one that's made, and Enbrel is made at Amgen. So, right in our own backyard, we have these blockbuster drugs being produced, and you can be part of that through biotech. How do you know if it's a good fit for you? And it's for students who like to troubleshoot, like working with cutting edge technology, like being part of a team, like making a product to improve people's lives, and like to actually be able to find a job after college, which is probably one of the big things you want to check off your list, right? So the program at CCRI is 6 courses, 18 credits in 2 semesters, 3 courses per semester, or you can stretch it out to 3 semesters if you want, do fall, spring, and summer, or even longer if you need to. And we offer courses day and evening, and also one of them is online to be flexible. And here's the 6 courses: cell biology for technology, biotech lab skills, microbiology, chemistry for biotechnology, instrumentation, orientation to biotechnology. These 6 courses give you a good foundation for entry-level positions in biotech. You have a good biology, chemistry, microbiology background, and technical skills to enter these positions. Another option is you can continue on with your education, take the credits from the certificate, plug them into the associate in science degree. So you'll get an associate's in a biotech certificate with 60 total credits, kind of a 2-for-1, certificate and degree option. I encourage students to do that. A lot of students will get a job after the certificate, then come back with the employer kind of paying for their education, and they'll finish up with the associate. So it's always a good option. You can also take your credits and transfer them to URI as well. They have a BS in biomanufacturing, and they take all the 18 credits, and that counts as 1 semester for the BS program at URI. I have a lot of students take advantage of this as well. They've done very well. All right, skills acquired. So all these skills, there's a whole bunch here. These are what industry looks for: aseptic technique, environmental monitoring, micropipetting, purification, transformation, metrology. These are all things going to ask you about on an interview and expect you to know coming from the program. So we spend a lot of time making sure that you're proficient in all these skills. So this is all things they look for. Okay, some careers: biomanufacturing technician, quality control technician, a research assistant. We've had students placed in all these types of positions here. The manufacturing position is kind of what we shoot for, and it's what most students get positions in. We do have some that go to QC as well, and a couple going to research, but they're all very good options for once you get your certificate to try and get a job in. And here's the companies where students have gotten jobs: Organogenesis, Waters, Avisha, Moderna, which has been in the news with the vaccine development, Immunogen, Genzyme, Amgen, and Thermo Fisher, and even Brown University has taken some of our students in a research position. Okay, what you can expect: you'll be asked to keep a CGMP laboratory notebook, following SOPs, completing batch records, wear lab coats, safety glasses, and gloves. And you'll be treated just like you would in industry. So we kind of get you in that mindset where you're working in the lab like you would in a plant. And you'll be prepared to find a job in biotech or related industry, or you can continue your education. All right. We also have guest speakers from industry come in and talk to you and tell you about the state of the industry, jobs available, what it's like to work in one of these companies. So we like to do that 1 or 2 times per semester. I tend to try and get someone from a big company or a small company to come in and talk to you. I also keep in touch with you after you graduate through this biotech Google groups, and other students will post jobs, post info as well. So you kind of, once you're a student, you're always a student in the program. And we also try and do industry tours when available. It's been difficult with COVID, but when we can, we'll try and get you into a facility. In addition, we also have a relationship with Rhode Island Embray, and over the summer they offer 10-week paid internships for a summer undergraduate research fellowship program where you get to work with a PhD mentor and you get paid to do it, and you have your choice of 2 or 3 topics, and they'll match you up with a good mentor. I've had students do this in the past with very good success, and they present in the summer at the end their poster, and they get to add this to their resume and put on that they have some research experience. Okay, why CCRI biotech program? We have small class sizes, hands-on instruction, flexible class schedules, great instructors, lowest tuition in the state, and lots of student support services to help you succeed. And thank you. If you guys have more questions, my contact information is here. Email, but I do check my messages when I get you. So just let me know. And if you have questions, I'll take any questions as well.
If you have any questions, feel free to take yourself off mute, or you can type it in the chat as well.
I'll make my screen.
And Haley, we can always go on to the next presentation about our various computer science programs as well. But if you have questions right now, go ahead.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm the type that when I get to work, my best strengths are when I'm taking my time and I'm not put under pressure to be fast-paced or to multitask. The best type of work that I do is like sort of like custodial type work. I was wondering if after the program is complete, out of the jobs that you mentioned, the manufacturing technician, quality control, and R&D, which one is best for being able to take my time, being able to be like detail oriented, and being able to document in.
So manufacturing technician, sometimes you work in pairs, and they'll have the SOP where they'll have one person reading the SOP, that'll be the reader, and a second person being the doer, actually performing the task. So they'd rather go slow and steady and make sure you get it right instead of making a mistake, because any mistake in this industry can be very costly. So they really guard against people rushing around and making mistakes. So they don't want you doing 2 or 3 things at once. They want you focusing on the task at hand, and that's the manufacturing part. The QC technician and the research, you may be a little more busy where you got 2 or 3 things going on at once. So I think the biomanufacturing position would probably be a good fit for you. And that's what we have, is people for the biomanufacturing positions.
Okay, Thank you. That helps me. That's a relief now that I know that I'm
Yep.
going towards the career that's best fit for me and with my skill sets.
Right. And they're going to train you. So even though you come from the program, this is, again, a foundation. But for whatever job you're going to do, you're going to be working with someone for probably 3-4 weeks until you're trained. Then they'll sign off saying, Haley is successfully trained for this position. She's capable of doing it herself. So they won't sign off until you're confident that you can do that. Again, they want to guard against any mistakes. So as long as you're, following along the training, reading the SOPs and doing it the way they kind of talk to you about, you should be fine. So the program information that you cover in class is kind of a background so you understand what's going on. So you kind of speed up your training and understanding of the process.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Do you have any other questions, Haley? I do hope you'll stick around too as well, because Professor Crawford is going to tell us about some other programs you might be interested in as well. Or if you think you have more questions a little later on, you can ask as well.
Okay. At the moment, I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Thanks, Haley.
Thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce Professor Crawford, who's going to tell us more about the computer science programs. Thank you, Professor Warilla.
So for the computer science as far as area, we end up having a whole bunch of different areas because in computers, a lot of people are familiar with a lot of different areas, don't really know where you would like to go. One of the big areas that we have is computer programming and a computer science. So if you're looking at transferring to URI or RIC for computer science, we have a program through the JAA area that allows you to go along, be able to, depending on your GPA through the JAA, you can get anywhere between a 10 and 30% discount at URI or RIC, where our computer programming is more generalized as far as to help students to be able to transfer to other different colleges other than URI or RIC, or they're just doing a career change and want to go into the computer programming area. We also have a computer studies and information processing degree that has 4 different concentrations. So we do have some generalized courses that are part of those concentrations. So basic networking for software and hardware. We also have computer support for somebody who wants really get hands-on as far as working on computers, tearing apart the computers, working with the different hardware, different operating systems. And then we have as far as a web technology degree. So somebody that wants to go into web design can be able to go along and do the web technology degree, be able to learn how to create websites, how to be able to collect data off of websites. And then a big program that we do have is cybersecurity. Our cybersecurity, which is NSA accredited by the National as far as Security Accreditation, they have gone along as far as our cybersecurity, which is a big area. You learn some basic networking, learn computer forensics. So how do people hide things when they're sending stuff in emails? How to be able to detect that, how to protect your systems as far as in just basic social media stuff that gets as far as sent, to the fact where we actually go along in your last course, we actually have a war game where you go to, we have a cyber range down at the Newport campus, and students, the class is split up into 2 groups. One half, the students are trying to break into the network. The other half is they're trying to actually stop as far as that attack from occurring in real life as far as scenario. So they actually play war games against each other and see how, as far as how to attack somebody, and then how to able to go along and defend. Because if you learn how people are attacking, you learn how to defend as far as well. We have certificates in the different areas. We have a brand new certificate in data analytics as far as it's going to start in the fall of 2021. but courses, you can start taking the courses in the spring of 2021 and then be able to sign up for and finish it in the fall. All our certificates are similar to, like Scott had mentioned, they're small base and they can build on each other and then can go along and lead into an actual degree. So we go through work on as far as the different areas. So on network technician, you become Cisco certified in CCNA, and then the advanced networking is toward your CCNP through Cisco. So we build on each other, so people that can go along be able to get jobs right away, especially with as far as network technician, the cyber area, they can go along, be able to get jobs right into the field, as far as good paying jobs in different areas. We do also require internships that students have to go along and do as part of the capstone course. Does anybody have any questions?
No, at the moment, I do not have any questions for you.
Thanks, Haley. Professor Crawford, could you tell us maybe some of the places that students do internships in your programs?
Our internships, we go along, as far as some of them are actually the Navy War College. We also have Senidia is a big one as far as that does internships. FM Global does some of our internships. Citizens Bank. We also, another one is Carousel, is another huge one as far as for networking. So those are the companies that we, as far as go through for the and have as far as relationships with as of right now.
Thanks. If a student is thinking about, they're thinking to themselves, they really like computers. How do you suggest going about deciding between the various branches of computer science? How do you get to know them well enough to know which one you're actually interested in?
We actually, for students that don't really know, we actually suggest that they set up a conference call or come in as far as and talk to the chairperson, and then we can sit down as far as and talk with the person and really find out what area do they really want to get into, what are their true interests, and really get into because like if you want to become a computer programmer, you really got to have a strong math background. And sometimes when students hear that, or they think, oh, I'm going to come up with the next best game. And when they realize that in computer programming, a lot of times you're not creating your own new stuff. You're working on somebody else's and just modifying. So by sitting down one-on-one with somebody in the department, usually the chairperson, we can go along and work with that student so they can figure out exactly which program do they want to go into.
Thank you. And Haley, did you have a question for Professor Crawford? Sorry, I thought you just took yourself off mute to ask a question. No problems if you don't.
No, I'm trying to come up with a question for you right now.
Okay.
Okay, as far as like geo, like, are you involved with like FEMA operations, and does that filter into computer science degree? As far as I think it's called geocaching and that type of work for FEMA operations?
We don't as of right now. We do talk just a little bit about it in the security class, but and it's only about one class that we actually talk into that, just so that students know about it. It's not something that we have in depth as of right now in our department.
Okay.
I'd like to give a chance to introduce Professor Ochir as well, who just joined us. And he is here to answer any other questions about computer science as well. Thanks for being with us.
am I supposed to say something, Jessica?
You're welcome to if you would like. We're just
Oh,
waiting to see.
no, what I want to do is introduce myself as
Yes.
one of the faculty, the computer science department. I teach cybersecurity, forensic, and programming. And Kevin Crawford is the chair, so he is the one who is going to speak about the program. So I'm just here to support him today.
Thank you very much. I know students do like to meet the faculty as they go through as well.
Yes.
And Professor Crawford did a great job letting us know about the programs right now.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Haley, thank you for your questions so far. Do you have any
You're welcome.
you can think of right now?
Is Professor I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Scott there? Biotechnology professor?
Self on mute.
He's on mute?
Hi. Yep, I'm here.
Hi, Scott.
Hi.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Warilla.
Warilla. Got it.
Warilla. Yeah,
Okay.
close enough. Yeah, it takes a little practice. So
Warilla. All right.
Warilla. It's Finnish, and a lot of people have a hard time saying it. But
Okay.
did you have a question?
Yes, I do. If while I am doing the biotech program at CCRI, if I want to get a entry level job that's going to in some way relate to biotechnology, which types of jobs would you suggest while I'm earning the certificate?
You could do possibly a lab job, like an environmental science job would be good, or possibly if you could intern somewhere doing any kind of biological prep, like if you worked possibly as like student help, even at CCRI or in a lab. We do take student help for people in labs. It's a great thing to put on your resume. We've had people in the lab where they complete their certificate, and then they add that as experience to their certificate, and they've done well with that. It's tough now with COVID, obviously, but once we get past this, that'd be an option.
Okay. And as far as getting into the internship, is that like is the internship that you mentioned at the end of the PowerPoint? How can I use my experience in the biotech certificate program to my advantage, so I am qualified for that and I know you already said student help, but what can I do to go above and beyond in the program so I could be qualified for one of those internships?
Your grades matter a lot. So if you're getting good grades in the courses and you're being kind of a leader, in the labs, and people can come to you for questions and things like that. That goes a long way. So when you get references, you need 3 references to submit. Whoever you ask, will have that knowledge and say, Haley really does a great job in lab. People come to her. She is very knowledgeable. I think those references hold a lot of weight, when they review the applications. So we have 4 students from CCRI selected to these positions, and typically I get 1 or 2 from the biotech area, but they can come from other parts, in chemistry and biology, even physics. So it is competitive. But whatever you can do to kind of pad your resume will help.
Okay.
I'd like to add is when you do your resume, make sure when you're working on some of your classes, some of your projects that you've worked on in your class, put that into your resume. Write that down as far as, don't just say, oh, I went to CCRI and I got as far as either a biotech certificate or a computer studies certificate. Put in there as far as if you worked on a project, even if it's a group project, write that down, put that into your resume, because that will just make you, as far as get that internship a little bit better than somebody else, because they can say, oh, this is what you did on a particular project.
That's a good point. You don't want a generic resume. It's kind of nothing interesting. They'll kind of pass you over.
You know, it's funny, Professor Crawford,
Okay.
one of the career partners we interviewed is from FM Global, and he went to CCRI, and he said the exact same thing. So that is a nice common thread that students will be able to see as far as, you know, keep some of your projects, attach some of your projects to your resume. You know, don't consider it just an assignment done. It's actually, it's an example of your work, an example of using the skills that you've learned. So there's fewer questions as to the kind of work you're going to produce when you come to work there.
Any other questions, Haley, or for me, or?
Not another question, but just more so clarification as far as the
Okay.
first part. So basically, the best, a good job for me to get while learning the biotechnology degree is student helps in labs. And did you say anything else? Because I can't recall if you said any other jobs besides student help in labs.
So any entry-level position that you can get with minimal experience, like even if you're working at some type of lab, you know, or private lab, you know, doing sample receiving or something where you don't need, you know, extensive, you know, information at that point, they'll kind of hire you and you can gain experience, you know, that you've held a position and, you know, you've been responsible showing up every day, you kind of understand how the samples work and that kind of thing. So anything you put on your resume will help. So the closer it is to something that you want to do in biology, the better.
Okay.
Okay.
Jessica, your mic's
Muted.
on. Muted.
Thank you for that. Just want to put another plug in for the job fair next week because there's such a wide variety of jobs and levels and fields that will be represented on that next week and in Handshake through Career Services as well. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. And if you have any questions, you can see their names right here, and you can search for them on ccri.edu, and you can look for the programs as well, searching the web pages. And I'm sure that if you had some specific questions when you were looking at those online, you could certainly email them or any of the other faculty you see attached with the program. All right. So thank you again for being with us today.
All right. Noted.
And I hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.